3, 4.
Boys and girls, what you're about to see is a musical threesome that you didn't need.
Hello fellow invokers of Sonic Oddities, and welcome to a brand new episode of A Musical Threesome. And today I want to talk about 3 releases that will help you to find the perfect way to enjoy your coffee. Yes, I'm talking about the 4 genders. Black, the classic, the purest form of elegance, where every sip tastes like tradition delivered into your stomach. Black with sugar, the brother of the original for people who have to find a replacement after an enforced cocaine rehab simply to feel alive again. Black with milk, an abomination of a beverage which denies every original intention of coffee, only for people who deny the glory of coffee in its original form.
Schwarzer, Junge. Der ist doch nicht mehr schwarz, wenn du Milch da reintust.
Black with milk and sugar. Hey, wait a second, we're not reviewing Milko today. Well, let's see what type of coffee drinker you are. Let's dive right into Liturgy's H.A.Q.Q. H.A.Q.Q.
Hark! Tretton! Hark!
Liturgy's Hakuna Matata. Hunter Hunt Hendrix, or how I like to call him, Cripple H, has provided us a new album of his controversial brainchild, Liturgy. I got this uneasy feeling with this band, and I swear that something's off with these guys. Wake up, sheeple! Hunter Hunt Hendrix is a marketing tool created by the game retail industry solely to sell more educational and geometrical block toys. Watch out! Also, since we're already talking about the artworks of Hunter's projects, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Many black metal bands tend to use religious imagery and terminology to pervert and twist them for some artistic use. But what Hunter does borders downright on cultural appropriation. Hunter, you sneaky, sketchy bastard. In all seriousness, I don't know what all these charts and words are supposed to mean, and I nearly had a stroke as I tried pronouncing some of the song titles. And before you go rampant in the comments, I won't do any research on all these little pieces of this great, some might say autistic jigsaw puzzle. Actually, that's a lie. Hunter was kind enough to upload videos on the subject of his philosophy and beliefs. These videos are, quite frankly, very helpful to understand his albums, unfortunately at the cost of the element of surprise and moments of discovery for the listener. Just like that annoying kid at school who laughed the loudest when someone cracked a joke and continued to ruin the moment by explaining the punchline, wheezing in tears, while everyone else experienced suicidal thoughts for the very first time in their life. Where was I? Ah yes, I didn't watch him anyways. What I watched instead though was a music video to the song Pasak. You know what? And boy, I wished Hunter was that one beloved outsider from the SoundCloud rap scene who managed to stay loyal and relevant to his little internet fan base even after being a sad boy wasn't enough anymore to please the wider audiences. This video's got it all, and puts Grandmaster Young Lean to shame when it comes to aesthetics, reeking of millennial angst and minimalistic visual effects and subtle symbolism. Bravo, Hunter. This, however, has, like any other thing in this life, its downsides, and the aforementioned aspects have always been a huge problem for this band, and the main reason why some people claim that Hunter might be a little bit pretentious. Hey, I love Super Smash Bros. Too, but you went too far with that cover for your manifesto, don't you think? Musically, this album continues what the last album started, and what we get here is basically a fruit salad full of ideas. Not well tossed though, at least in my humble opinion, but I have the feeling that's intentional, and Hunter doesn't give a damn what we all think of it anyway. Rap and trap beats, tux guitars, piano MIDI pieces, and the expected oddball black metal mutation, which has become such a meme at this point that I refuse to corpse rape that dead horse which was already brutally beaten to death and is rotting beyond eternity for many years. I hope you understand that Hunter himself doesn't like to be labeled as a black metal artist, and since this channel stands for nothing but respect, you're ought to stop this childish mockery of Hunty's band and call it by its intentional genre name. Transcendental black... well, I guess the comparisons are valid after all. Well, Hunter, that's your fault. Getting back on track, The music itself is tightly played and for the most part well produced. However, sometimes it leans towards a video gamey sound, which makes Hakuna Matata the uncanny valley of music. This and Hunter's inability to concentrate on creating a memorable riff makes this album unbearable to me and sometimes even annoying when he decides to create guitar harmonies which sound like an 11-year-old randomly putting notes together on the Guitar Hero creation tool. I tried to find out the source of this confusion, but apparently they don't know either. As you can see, I'm not very pleased with this album, except for two small details. On the opening track, Liturgy bravely included unironically a shitty flute part in 2020, which might seem like a dated attempt to enter the meme game, but I still appreciate the fact and it took me off guard for a moment. Well played, Hunter. In addition, to call the most black metal centric song Virginity would be the best meta joke I've ever heard on an album. In conclusion, if you didn't like Liturgy before, it will stay that way, but if you're a fan already, this will probably be the most interesting and experimental album and you'll definitely have more fun than I had. It's a release for the diehards and no one else. Further discussions about its place in the black metal scene, well, you can fight this battle on an image board or in Facebook groups. Pour that milk into your coffee if you want, we all know that you prefer chocolate milk anyway. Up next, Crypt Dagger's upcoming release, From Below. Hailing from Karlsruhe, Germany, these mad lads are carrying the torch into battle of regional black metal dominance. Let me explain. In the southwest of Germany, where the black metal scene is barely existent, there's an everlasting battle between Karlsruhe and Stuttgart. Stuttgart is a shady place where people experience Mark's worst nightmare. The shadows of huge multi-billionaire corporation buildings descend on miserable working-class trash that eat up the feces of the wealthy in hope that there's any nutrition left for them to absorb. Long story short, it's Berlin for people with speech impediments who pretend that they can afford overpriced street food, but in reality they're just sucking off each other and living depressed in some shitty apartment in hope that in one day a naive startup company from Berlin will accept their job application. Then they'll cross the barren wastelands of Western Germany to infect and gentrify Berlin even more. Frightening. If a band from Stuttgart ever approaches you, laugh at them and take a bite of your delicious €6 Tex-Mex dish. It's worth the trouble. Karlsruhe, on the other hand, is a place where everyone lives in misery, so no gap between rich and poor. Yay! These humble circumstances caused an uprising of honest, hard-working pros who will always share their last beer or cigarette with you because they know too well what you're going through. Every light that shines through their clouds is appreciated and met with love. So remember the next time when you're traveling to Germany to avoid Stuttgart and go to Karlsruhe to experience brotherly love and honesty. Crypt Dagger are such chats, and certainly not pretending to be anything else. The promotional material shows it all. The drummer is desperately clinching on probably the healthiest meal he'll ever have and is not ashamed to admit that. Hey look, the times are troubling, but never forget that your body is your temple, so treat it well. Wholesome. The bass player basically radiates big dick energy and shows how working out in the factory will transform any pathetic peasant into a massive working class killing machine. The singer and guitar player represents the total amount of a human being can take during a ruthless binge drinking session and gives an implication what the listener will experience when the album is playing on maximum volume. That's really all I can say about the music though. I have to admit that I know these lads personally, and it would be irresponsible of me to make an objective review with that bias in the back of my head. So, I hired someone else instead to do this part. Let's give a warm welcome to one of my favorite YouTubers.
Hello, I am a metal reviewer slash experimental musician, Kraken Love. Well, my music project is kraken.love.music. So, it's basically the same branding, but today, the Hangman's Opinions has humbly asked me to review Crypt Daggers From Below. This is a filthy, rough and tumble black speed metal with a good portion of punk. And with me, I love black speed metal. It is. I love DSS. Love Perdition from Ireland, and I love this. This is. It sounds a lot like Venom, except the vocals are different. And honestly, this is really good. Like, not lying. Like the guy told me, hey, I don't care if it's bad. Like, tell him it's bad. I'm telling you right now, this is good. It is. I think my favorite track off of this is their Dead Moon cover, 5,440 or Fight, not Flight. That would be very weird if it was Flight, because then it would be some sort of airplane themed song. And I don't know, if you're into airplane themed songs, look up 5,440 or Flight. Probably exists somewhere. But yeah, this is good. Like, look at that guy in the axe. That guy holding that axe he's just having a good old time with those candles. He's taking himself a nice relaxing sleep in candles in a coffin with an axe and a spiked arm bracers. I don't think he's sleeping. I don't know. This is going to get a 9 from me. The reason I'm in a hotel is because I am taking the ACT the next day of recording this. Wish me luck. He might edit this out. I don't know. He might edit all this out and just say he gave it a 9 out of 10, which is what I give it. That's it. Oh, whatever.
Thank you, Kraken Love, for your infinite wisdom. See you next time. Anyway, the label Dying Victims Productions was kind enough to release some of the songs in advance, so go on YouTube and listen to it, and if you like it, pre-order. They really need the money for a cocaine replacement. Sugar, for sure, but watch out, it can be just as addictive as the gas fumes of Stuttgart. And we all don't want to be like Stuttgart. My last entry is Wagner Ödegård's sad Swedish dude jumping off a bridge due to insane alcohol taxes. Wagner, as some of you might know, is one of these people who can't stop releasing good freaking shit. To make it even worse, he's such a player, he divides his abilities on multiple projects just to flex on an entire generation of so-called black metal artists who don't bother to release any physical copy of their work. On one hand, because they're lazy, and on the other hand, because they got rejected by all the labels. This album is a blast and shows that raw black metal is still alive and well. While lo-fi recordings have become a sad excuse over the years for NSBM bands to include deep-fried audio samples from sketchy politicians in hope that nobody will notice, while playing the same boring, inverted power chords over and over again, Wagner doesn't let the lower quality of the recordings hide the musical genius that he gave birth to. It rather licks the sonic waves gently with its tongue and flushes the raw sounds with the help of its saliva straight into your ears. While most modern black metal acts enforce some weird kind of eclecticism and get lost in overambitious song structures, Wagner, the Chat, simply puts the essential pieces together to form a coherent song without including unnecessary gimmicks. And those pieces are riffs. A shitload of riffs, to be precise. The songs aren't very long, but that's the beauty. Every segment is memorable and recognizable, and it's great to see that Wagner has not rejected or abolished any of the punk influences many other bands of this genre neglect. In fact, if you got this annoying family member or friend who stumbled upon black metal by watching Lords of Chaos and can't stop talking about how rotten Mayhem or Burzum sound, take them aside and show them this album. If they give it some time, they'll be surprised to see how catchy it actually is. That's the best way to describe it. It's perfect for the old farts, craving for the good old days, and perfect for the newcomers who are still in shock after seeing Corneo's tape cover while doing some research on underground releases. But Hangman, aren't you forgetting something important? Yeah, sure. The entire album is written in some Proto-Germanic language, which either implies that Wagner is a full fucking autistic genius, or that he takes advantage of poor students working for an extra payday to supply their addiction for ramen noodles and leftover cocaine. The more students get exploited and occupied by writing Proto-Germanic black metal lyrics, the less we as a population will have to worry about the increase of craft beer stores and barber shops. Wagner, you got my total support. It's been a while since I was that addicted to a raw black metal album. Hell, I even added the song files to my copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 just to grind that album while grinding. This is more than just a recommendation, and by now you should know that I absolutely love this album, and I predict that this is one of the releases people will talk about in the next decades to come. Godspeed you, Wagner. Give us more. That's black metal for the real coffee enthusiasts, and you'll never ever turn away from it, I promise. So fellas and fellettes, I really hope you learned something today, and I wish you pleasant days. And don't forget to tell me in the comments how you like your coffee. Special thanks to Kraken Love for helping me out on this one. Go check his top tier content, you won't regret it. See you next time.